What if I told you there exists one movement that has been present since the first humans stood upon the earth, an action as natural as breathing itself, yet in the midst of our modern world has become nearly forgotten and abandoned? A way to keep the body young, agile, and strong without needing equipment or strenuous routines. Simply by doing it, with dedication and consistency, you can turn back the clock on your body's strength and vitality. That movement is the deep squat, a sequence that today many people avoid, misunderstand, and even consider dangerous. But what's truly dangerous is losing the ability to perform it. Once the body forgets this ancient movement, that's where true aging begins. Stiffness, pain, dependency, and limitation. Try to imagine, for just a moment, a simple scene. A small child reaching for a toy on the floor, and their body, without conscious thought, forms a perfect deep squat. With a straight back, feet planted firmly, breath flowing easily and naturally. This innocent movement is the inheritance of humanity's original design and mechanics. We all carry this intelligence from birth. It's encoded and imprinted within our muscles. But over time, we become accustomed to abandoning it. What was once simple becomes difficult. It even appears impossible for many adults in our modern world. So what happens when this secret is forgotten and lost? The body begins searching for alternative compensations. We need hands for support when standing up. The back hunches forward instead of the hips hinging properly. Steps become shorter and more limited. Little by little, agility and independence evaporate and disappear. Even confidence in one's own body vanishes completely. Aging isn't measured by wrinkles on the face, but rather from the moment we lose this ancient flexibility and natural movement pattern. The miracle and magic of the deep squat lies in its purity and simplicity. In one single sequence, it awakens the strength of the thighs, glutes, hips, core, and entire spine. It loosens the hip joints, knees, and ankles, stimulates circulation, improves digestion. It's like a silent song celebrating vitality, a union of bones, muscles, and energy in a symphony of rejuvenation and renewal. Here, I will reveal why the deep squat is considered the sacred practice for delaying aging, how it activates hidden circuits of resilience, the ancestral inheritance that has been tested and proven, and, most importantly, how you can retrace its steps in daily life to restore your own movement and vitality. Most people ignore this truth, but today, you will discover it. That the key to true rejuvenation doesn't exist behind expensive labels or products. The answer is simple: remembering what your body has never truly forgotten. To bend, to hold, to rise again. Prepare yourself. Behind something that appears so simple lies hidden a ritual of both physical and spiritual power and strength. To understand this deeply, let us review human history. Before the existence of cushioned chairs and tall tables, humanity lived close to the earth. Cooking near fires, harvesting forest bounty, resting beneath trees, gathering in circles for conversation. From all these positions, it wasn't sitting in chairs, but the deep squat that was dominant, close to the earth, spine erect, feet grounded and rooted. In many traditional societies, this position signified connection with origins, with the source of life itself. Among indigenous tribes of Africa and the Americas, squatting became commonplace during work, storytelling, or communal ceremonies. It wasn't exercise, but rather part of life itself. The philosophy behind it, staying close to the earth, means staying close to the source, to humility and groundedness. In Asia, particularly China, India, and Japan, the deep squat also integrated into daily competence and capability. Eating, conversing, or resting was done in this position, even up until a few decades ago. But more than mere efficiency, what was elevated was its vital power and life force. In yoga, many asanas for opening the hips and making legs strong originate from this ancestral movement pattern. It's believed that bowing to the earth aligns the root chakra, the foundation of stability, health, and life energy, while the erect spine provides space for energy to rise upward, just as prana or chi flows throughout the system. Ancient Western cultures also placed deep meaning on the squat. Greek philosophers emphasized that movement and circulation are the foundation of bodily and spiritual health. Hippocrates, the pioneer of medicine, stated, "The absence of movement erodes human existence, but activity maintains balance and equilibrium." He may not have mentioned squatting literally, but the concept is clear. The ability to bend and rise is a symbol of vitality and longevity. Then times changed and shifted. Modernity separated us from the earth. Chairs occupied space, making the body lose its intimacy with the ground. Gradually, stiffness and pain crept in. The elderly generation in urban areas finds it extremely difficult to return to this pattern. Meanwhile, in rural areas and traditional communities, the squatting habit persists, making their bodies strong and flexible well into the twilight years of life. Philosophically, the deep squat contains an important lesson. Whoever masters the art of descending and returning upward maintains the strength to continue persevering. It's a symbol of both surrender and resurrection. Each time it's performed, it's not merely training muscles, but habituating the soul to always begin anew, to renew and refresh itself. So what the majority has forgotten isn't just physical fitness, but rather a spiritual heritage that reminds us of a bitter reality. We have made life so complicated that we've become negligent of essence and fundamentals, and there lies the root where premature aging silently grows and takes hold. Often, people think youth radiates from smooth skin surface or a glowing face. But the true measure of youth isn't reflected in the mirror, but rather in the body's flexibility and capability in real life. The agility to squat and rise, spine remaining erect, joints moving freely. That is the mirror of true life force. There, the deep squat becomes the hidden gem in the anti-aging world. Physically, this movement stimulates nearly the entire body system. Bending into a deep squat activates the thighs, glutes, hips, abdominal muscles, and the entire spine. Ankles become more flexible. Blood flow surges intensely. It feels like assembling energy pathways coursing throughout the entire body. Simple, yet incomparably holistic. But what's most meaningful is its secret effect. With each descent, the abdominal cavity adjusts pressure. Internal organs receive natural massage, intestinal movement improves, body fluids flow more freely. The body isn't only strengthened, but also cleansed and purified. This is why, in traditional Chinese medicine, This kind of position becomes a recommendation for longevity, not merely building muscle, but maintaining qi flow to remain open and energized. If viewing it through a spiritual lens, the meaning becomes even more deeply revealed. In the deep squat, we trace the cycle of descending to earth, then rising again. There's a ritual of humility and resurrection each time the body steps lower. With each descent, you return to roots, to source, to essence. Each time you stand, you're reborn, like the phoenix from ashes, stronger, clearer. Doing this means living the eternal cycle of death and birth that all of life experiences. What's magical, there's also influence at the energetic level. By softening the hip joints and ankles, we release tense knots, the location where memories and buried emotions reside. Yoga teachings say the hips hold inner burdens. Moving, opening, giving space in that area can release trapped memories. Not infrequently, anyone who does this feels relief, sometimes even wanting to cry. The body speaks through movement, becoming the purest means of catharsis. Imagine this movement as a fountain of youth. It's far from the illusion of magic potions, but rather a primordial trace that awakens ancient memory of life's meaning. Regularly doing it makes the body believe again. Moving without pain, persisting without fear, aligning with gravity rather than fighting against it. Squatting also builds something often forgotten by the modern fitness world: trust in oneself. Those who can still perform a full squat without worrying about falling, who can rise without assistance, maintain not just mobility, but independence. And independence is the essence of freedom. No longer dependent on canes, no longer needing others' helping hands just to move. That is the antidote to aging. This is why this simple movement is truly a transformation, a fusion of energy, physical, and inner being. Far beyond merely tightening muscles, it invites us to embrace again the secret of longevity, not by adding, but by returning to the foundation and basics. It's clear now, the deep squat isn't limited to physical exercise. It's full of meaning, laden with regeneration, and a connector with the soul. But there are also subtle layers that many people haven't realized. What appears to be merely movement is actually a path of self-discovery, as long as it's carried out in inner silence and awareness. One astonishing fact: the difficulty of performing a deep squat isn't the body's nature or design, but rather the result of culture and modern living. The body is truly designed to be capable of doing it. Just look at small children able to squat perfectly without effort or training. But the modern world, pampered by chairs and tall benches, has severed that habit. What is natural now appears impossible for millions of adults. The bitter truth is, we age, not because years pass, but because we abandon the fundamental movement patterns we were designed for from the very beginning. Another aspect often overlooked is the illusion between comfort and longevity. We're surrounded by sofas, soft beds, everything designed to make things easier. But hidden within that comfort is a trap. By reducing the body's effort, we actually weaken our own life force and vitality. The deep squat reminds us that true comfort isn't avoiding effort, but rather maintaining the capacity for it, a call to return to the earth, to honor the starting point of life itself. There's also an energy dimension often neglected, the squat as a portal for grounding the soul. In a world driven by speed, energy is usually poured into the head, full of anxiety, thoughts scattered everywhere. By lowering the body into a squat, we literally direct energy downward, strengthening the root chakra, the center of resilience and self-confidence. Like plugging into the earth, the soul releases excess, then reconnects with the core and foundation. Don't forget the inner aspect. Many people feel uncomfortable in this position, not just because joints are stiff, but because the body stores memories in hips, knees, heels. Discomfort is an invitation to release. Every second in a deep squat is courage, sitting with that sensation, observing, breathing deeply, until gradually it transforms into strength and power. We must understand, the deep squat isn't about recording achievements. It's not just a tool for shaping thighs or glutes, but a daily ritual. Like drinking water from the spring of flexibility, remember that the ability to bend and rise is the dividing line between aging with limitation or aging with dignity and freedom. In summary, the deep squat is far from just a trend. It's a healing legacy from the past. By practicing it, we repair what the ages have taken away: connection to the earth, to our bodies, and to our own lives. The secret to delaying aging doesn't lie in expensive creams or magic pills. As always, the answer exists in what's simple. The body has its own magic. It only needs to be reminded of the movements that keep it fit and vital. The deep squat shouldn't be just a challenge, but rather part of everyday life. Reviving this movement can become a transformative journey, both physical and spiritual. Here are some practical guidelines so this movement easily becomes habit. Begin from where you are now. No need to force immediate perfection. If today you can only descend a few centimeters, that's perfectly fine. This process isn't about forcing, but about awakening the body's memory that once existed. Try sitting in a low chair, then lift your body without relying on your hands. You may use assistance if needed. What's important is doing it with full attention and awareness. Each time you try, you remind muscles and joints of their original function. Next, let the deep squat become a daily routine, not merely exercise. Incorporate this position into your activities. Every time you want to pick up an object from the floor, do it by folding the body, not hunching the back. When wanting to rest, try holding this position for a few moments, rather than immediately seeking a chair. At first it might feel awkward or uncomfortable, but over time, the body recognizes again the home of its original flexibility. Don't forget, breath in every moment. The essence of this movement isn't just about bending down, but about holding and breathing consciously. Feel how the hips widen, ankles loosen, breath seeps into deep spaces. Imagine each breath taken in that position is a sip of fresh energy, and each exhalation carries pressure away toward the earth. Make this also a meditation practice. Unite palms at the chest, close eyes, and let silence speak. Observe whatever comes: discomfort, thoughts, urges. This position trains patience, humility. You'll discover that drawing close to earth can reorganize mind and heart. Love the floor. Make it your friend. Bring yourself close to the ground in every activity. Sit on the floor when relaxing, reading, watching, or gathering with family. Alternating between sitting positions on the ground and deep squats will strengthen hips and knees without you noticing. Every minute away from the floor is a second forgetting the body's original design. Celebrate every progress. Don't be tempted to chase perfection. Enjoy each second of added holding time, each extra centimeter you're able to descend. Progress in this practice isn't measured by visible muscles, but by the freedom you reclaim and drink in again. The deepest lesson is, you don't need to create something new. Just remember what has always been there. The deep squat is the body's ancient language. Each time you repeat it, you awaken again the soul of vitality within yourself. Let it be a companion in your days, and you will discover that eternal fitness isn't a mirage, but the natural fruit of living in alignment with your body's true design and blueprint. Our journey today has traced human roots to the present, revealing one secret that is now nearly forgotten: the deep squat, a step neglected by almost everyone, yet silently holding the great difference between aging stiffly or remaining full of energy and life force. What's most extraordinary about all of this is precisely its simplicity. No equipment needed, no gym membership required, no reliance on expensive technology. It can be done by anyone, anytime, anywhere. Each time your body bends toward Earth, then rises again. There the formula of immortality takes place. Strengthening muscles, relieving joints, refreshing internal organs, awakening the flow of life force like a river of light through the body. But deeper than physical benefits, the deep squat is a lesson about the soul. Life is an endless cycle, descending, then being reborn again. Each time we bow down, we learn to accept humility, returning to origin. But each time we stand again, we celebrate the power to resurrect ourselves. This movement reminds us, no matter how many times we fall, what's most important is always the ability to stand again, remaining dignified. In esoteric understanding, old age isn't just a number of years, but rather the severing of connection from what's fundamental. The day we stop moving according to our nature, the moment the body distances from Earth, from that moment the self gradually becomes uprooted from its foundation. Thus, premature aging arrives before its time. So, retraining the deep squat isn't just a physical step, but an effort to reconnect ancient memory, to redefine what it means to live fully. Now the choice is in your hands. You can close your eyes to this secret, searching endlessly for artificial solutions that never arrive, or decide to awaken your own body's ancient capability. Though difficult at first, though assistance is needed, though the body rebels, every effort is a success. Every second you draw close to Earth is one step toward freedom and liberation. Imagine yourself 20, 30 years from now. Do you want to age with a stiff body, dependent on assistance, constantly complaining of pain? Or do you want to remain free to move, able to bend and rise without fear, living with complete dignity and freedom? The answer lies hidden in one gesture, often ignored. But today, you have rediscovered it. Remember, true rejuvenation isn't denying age, but enriching each year with movement and energy full of meaning. The deep squat is the key that reopens that opportunity and possibility. If this message touches your heart, share it. Don't keep it to yourself. I invite you to subscribe here, leave a comment, and share this video with people you care about. Because anyone who remembers this ancient secret holds the opportunity to restore their vitality and transform their future. Time will continue flowing, but how we live it depends on every choice we make today. And now you have chosen to return to walking this movement that brings life and vitality.